The first time my mother-in-law asked about my salary, I assumed she was making conversation. The second time felt strange. The third time felt like an audit. By the fourth time, I knew we had a problem. My name is Ryan. I'm 32 years old, financial analyst, married. Happy, or at least I was. My wife Lauren and I met in Chicago. She was smart, independent, funny, everything I wanted. The only complication was her mother, Patricia. Patricia believed boundaries were suggestions, other people's boundaries, never hers. The first year Lauren and I dated, Patricia inserted herself into everything. Restaurants, vacations, apartment hunting, wedding planning. She had an opinion about everything, and unfortunately, she expected those opinions to become decisions. 57 days. 57 days after our wedding, Patricia invited us to dinner. At first, everything seemed normal. Good food, friendly conversation, then dessert arrived. And so did the interrogation. Patricia looked directly at me, then asked, "How much do you make now?" The room went quiet. I laughed. She didn't. Then she repeated the question, slower, like she was speaking to a child. I politely declined. Big mistake. Patricia hated being told no. She folded her arms. Then said something I'll never forget. Married income belongs to the family. I looked at Lauren, waiting for her to laugh. She didn't. Waiting for her to object. She didn't. Waiting for literally anything. Nothing. And suddenly I felt very alone at that table. The rule over the next few weeks, I learned something disturbing. Patricia had spent years controlling everyone's finances. Her husband, her daughter, her son, even extended relatives, not officially. Emotionally, through guilt, pressure, manipulation. Everyone simply accepted it. Nobody challenged her, which explained why she seemed so shocked when I did. The spreadsheet one evening Patricia emailed me. An actual spreadsheet. I wish I were kidding. A spreadsheet showing how family members should contribute financially. There were columns, percentages, suggested amounts, expected amounts. And beside my name, a blank space, waiting to be filled. I stared at the screen, then started laughing, because surely nobody could be serious. Patricia was serious, very serious. The mortgage. A week later, Lauren finally explained something she'd been hiding. Years earlier, Patricia nearly lost her home, medical debt, credit card debt, poor financial decisions. The bank had started foreclosure proceedings. Patricia told everyone it was bad luck. That wasn't true. It was math. And bad choices. The house should have been gone, except someone stepped in. Me, long before Lauren and I got married, long before Patricia knew. Lauren asked for help, not money, guidance. Instead, I quietly structured a refinancing arrangement through an investment group I partially owned. Everything was legal, transparent, professional, most importantly. Patricia never knew. The demand 2 months later, Patricia escalated. She announced a family meeting. Whenever Patricia announced a family meeting, disaster followed. This one was no different. Halfway through dinner she stood, then publicly announced, "Ryan refuses to contribute." The room immediately turned toward me, exactly what she wanted: pressure, embarrassment, social leverage. Then came the line. Some people enjoy family benefits without family responsibilities. I realized something. This wasn't about money, it was about control, always had been. The phone call 3 weeks later, my phone rang. The caller ID surprised me, Patricia. For once, she sounded nervous, very nervous. Apparently a mortgage payment issue had surfaced. A restructuring review, documentation request, bank inquiry. She wanted advice. Immediately, I agreed to meet. The meeting, the bank representative arrived first. Patricia looked confident. That confidence lasted about 4 minutes. Then the representative opened a file and began explaining the refinancing structure, the legal ownership entities, the debt protections, the guarantee agreements. Patricia looked confused. Then she looked at me, then back at the representative. Then asked, "Who approved all this?" The representative pointed directly at me. Silence. Absolute silence. Patricia blinked twice, then asked, "Ryan?" The representative nodded and kept talking. Apparently, the arrangement that saved her house years earlier had originated from a financial structure I created. A structure that absorbed risk nobody else wanted, including Patricia. Without it, the house would have been gone years ago. The realization. For the first time since I'd known her, Patricia had nothing to say, no speech, no lecture, no criticism, nothing, because she finally understood something. The person she'd spent months trying to control was the same person who had quietly protected her family when nobody else could. The apology 2 weeks later, Patricia invited me to lunch. I almost declined. Almost. When I arrived, she looked uncomfortable. Good. I had been uncomfortable for months. Then she surprised me. She apologized, not partially, not strategically, actually apologized for the questions, the pressure, the public comments, the entitlement. Then she said something unexpected. I thought money made people selfish. I waited, then she continued. I never considered that generosity sometimes looks quiet. For a moment, neither of us spoke. Then I smiled, because that was probably the nicest thing Patricia had ever said to anyone. As I stood to leave, she stopped me, then asked, "Why didn't you tell me?" I thought about the house, the mortgage, the wedding, the spreadsheet, then shrugged. Because helping someone and controlling someone aren't the same thing. For the first time in our entire relationship, Patricia didn't have a comeback. And honestly, that was worth more than any paycheck.